Hello, I'm Jim Amon. I have recently published a book through the Sourland Conservancy called Seeing the Sourlands. It's a collection of 64 essays and well over 100 photographs that I've taken, all of them dealing with plants and animals and natural processes that occur in the Sourland region. The book was published in December, and it seems to have hit a chord. There are a lot of people who are interested in the Sourlands and want to know a little more about it. And that, in fact, is exactly why I wrote the book. I wrote the book because I have, for many years, led nature walks in the Sourland region and found that people are interested, but they don't know very much about it, and they'd like to know some more. I'm an amateur or a sort of a wannabe botanist myself because I did not study it in college, but I have had a career which has been almost always about the outdoors. For 30 years, I was the director of the D&R Canal Commission, and for 10 years, I was the Director of Stewardship for the D&R Greenway Land Trust. After that, I was very briefly a member of the board of trustees for the Sourland Conservancy, and that caused me to have a great affection for that organization. And I was very happy that even when I left the board, they allowed me to publish once a month my Seeing the Sourlands essays and photographs. What I'm going to do is read one of the essays for you today, and I hope that you enjoy it and learn a little something and get motivated to go out and see the Sourlands. And the essay goes, a gigantic white oak stands on the bank of the Stony Brook in the Hopewell Township Nature Preserve called Cedar Ridge. I've measured this tree to try to determine its age and concluded that it is about 300 years old. Middle age for a species that lives to be 500 years old. If that is right, this tree started its life at about the same time that J.S. Bach was composing his sublime music. His first sonata was performed in 1704. In the New World, 20 people, most of them women, were executed for committing witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts, at about the time that this tree started growing. The French philosopher of the Enlightenment, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, was born at about the same time as this tree. This white oak reached the age of 100 years as George Washington was ending his second term as president. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's great opera, Don Giovanni, had been performed for the first time, and Beethoven, a young man of 30 in 1800, was captivating musical audiences. Napoleon Bonaparte became Emperor of France in 1804. When the tree was 200 years old, the last of the great flocks of passenger pigeons flew overhead. Automobiles were beginning to be seen on streets in America. The French Impressionists had just completed their revolution in painting. Thomas Edison, working in Menlo Park, New Jersey, had gotten a patent for the electric light. The great ocean liner Titanic sank in the North Atlantic in 1911. On July 21st, 1969, before the tree could reach its 300th year, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. What a lifespan. For 300 years, this white oak has been part of the Sourlands ecosystem. Its acorns have fed generation after generation of deer, raccoon, turkey, mice, black bears, squirrels, and blue jays. Its cavities have provided a safe nest for chickadees, wrens, and many other species of birds. Oaks are the quintessential supporter of caterpillars and moths. At least 105 species of moths and butterflies feed off parts of oak trees. This in turn has attracted many species of birds that feed on the caterpillars. It is well known in birding circles that if you want to see a warbler in the spring, you should look for an oak in flower. This white oak does not stand straight. Instead, it leans away from the Stony Brook, reminiscent of the posture of Balzac in the great Rodin sculpture. Like that sculpture, it gives the impression that it is surveying in a lordly way all that is before it. The Druids believed that old oaks could whisper prophecies to them. You will have to decide that for yourself, but I don't think this tree is talking, either about the history it has surveyed or the future before us. Even in silence, though, it is a rewarding destination. I seek its presence several times a year to sit under, walk around, and of course, to touch. White oaks are wonderful trees to plant in a big yard. There is only one problem. If you plant a white oak today, in 450 years, somebody's heart will break because it will die.